Hello, and my name is Nadia Strachan, and thank you for joining me for the second half of your design consultation for your luxury modern living room. And just another reminder that this is the living room, the beautiful, family room that you have chosen. And as I said in the other one, whether you want to use this as your living room or your family room, it's entirely up to you. It's an absolutely superb room. And so what I'm going to do is explain to you about how we actually put this together. Now, initially what I have done, I have presented this as a UK and US. So you have US and UK keys. I am in the UK, and the keys are in the UK. I'm laid them out here so you can see the UK key, and also there's the US key. Now, the reason I have done that is because all of the suppliers, as you can see here, when you print everything out, the suppliers, they are not the same in the UK as they are in the US, because we don't have the same manufacturers here in the UK as you have in the US. So the ones for the UK suppliers or manufacturers, they will probably be quite similar for the whole of the UK and also most of Europe. So they'll be quite familiar with a lot of suppliers that I'll talk about, or they'll be able to find very similar ones in Europe as well as in the UK. Now for the US, your suppliers, I've found the suppliers that relate to the US, and also all the other sort of Americas or countries that have a lot of American products as well, so that your suppliers have been accounted for as well. So I don't want you to worry when you see this and you see, oh, there's a UK key, so the UK keys here and the US keys here. The product item is here. Okay, and then this is explaining who the manufacturer or the supplier is, the website, and also the item, the breakdown of the items, the product code, so you know exactly what that item is, where to get it from, and what sizes it comes in and everything. So you can actually go to and find that item very easily. So I've done all the legwork, all the work's done for you. I know that the products look a little bit different, a little bit of a difference between the UK and the US ones. As your design consultant and as your designer, I have made a decision as to what will still relate to the actual scheme and still produce the best look for you within your scheme. So I'm fully aware that there may be a slight difference in sizes between some of the products. I'm aware of that, but I've looked at the whole scheme and made the decision that it will still do the job more than efficiently, more than effectively, and then you'll be able to still use it within your scheme, and you will still get this look and this outcome at the end of the day. So that whether you're in the UK and Europe, or in the US and the Americas, you will still get this product. So I want to just put your mind at ease there, that I am fully aware that these products are not the same, but I just know what the outcome will be at the end of the day for you. Having said that as well, if you look at some of the products and you decide, oh, I'm not quite sure if I really like that, it doesn't work with the lighting in your home or the atmosphere, you can choose something that's similar or close to it. It will still work. So don't worry, it's not like you must get that exact one, otherwise it won't work and it'll all fall apart. No, it won't. Just don't stray too far away from it. You can sort of go one colour band over, one colour band over, under, and it will still work. So I wouldn't be too worried and hold on to it and be like, oh gosh, it's not going to look right, or it's going to look odd. It will not look odd. It won't look odd. It will look amazing. So I want you to be rest assured I am leading your design and you will be fine. You'll be fine. So just trust in the process, because when it all comes together, it will look amazing. Okay? So that being said, the first thing that I wanted to do after you have printed out everything and you've got everything and you've decided whether you're going to be full DIY, part and part like we're going to talk about now, or you're going to hand it over to a project manager, whichever way, then you need to order all of your samples. This is important. Give yourself 2 weeks, 2 weeks to order all of your samples. Okay. Now, in red here, in red, there, that is the name of either the manufacturer or the supplier. But underneath in blue, you will be able to see the website. On the website's where you can order most of the samples. Now, I'd say give yourself 2 weeks. If it's out of stock, then it's going to take longer than 2 weeks. The best way to get around it, if you want to get your samples quicker than that, is to actually go to the actual places themselves. I've given you the website, all the addresses of where everything is on the website. So you can actually go to the actual stores or the manufacturers and you actually go and collect your samples yourself. Now, the beauty of that is that you will not be charged. If you just show up and you take the samples away from you, generally they don't charge you, and also they give you bigger pieces because it costs them money to send samples to you. If you go and collect them, it doesn't cost anything. Their samples are usually offcuts of what they're using anyway to produce the items. So you can probably collect more than one sample or bigger samples, or you can get more than if that was being you were taking it away with you. So but the thing is, don't get carried away. Just because you're in the store and you're faced with a wall of samples, do not get overwhelmed. Don't get carried away. The first thing you do is home in on the one that's been recommended to you and take that one. And if there's a colorway maybe that you like, that is maybe one sample, one colorway above or one colorway below or to the side of it, then you can take those as well. But I would say for the colors that I've recommended, please don't get more than 3. The one that I've recommended and maybe one that's a bit lighter and one that's a little bit darker. That's it. Draw the line. I'm telling you where to draw the line. Draw the line. Do not go down that route. That's why you've got a consultation, okay? So this is just trust that you don't need to go any wider than that, okay? So just stick with that. And if you could stick with the one that I've told you, wonderful. Let's go with that, okay? Now, thing to note, when you get your paint samples, obviously that's something that you won't be ordering probably online. It's something you usually go into the shop and go and buy and collect your match pots or your little paint samples. When you get those, even though it's a little pot, they cover you get such a lot in such a little pot. Now, what I would say, please do not draw patches of colour. Don't paint patches of colour on your wall. Don't do that. Please do not do that. This process will probably take you anywhere from, once you've got all your samples together and you get started, it could take you anything from 2 weeks. That's ambitious. I'd say 3 weeks to 3 months. Anything from 3 weeks to 3 months from beginning to end, depending on how quickly you can work on this. From 3 weeks to 3 months. In 3 weeks, usually if you've got somebody doing it for you, you've got a project manager managing this whole thing for you, they'll order all the samples and they can knock the whole thing out in 3 weeks. If you're doing it yourself, it'll probably going to take you 3 months. So you don't want to live with patches of paint on your wall. That will be discouraging and it will slow your process down. You may think it will encourage you, it will not excite you, because you will still use in your home and other people will be coming in and out of your home as well, and it won't look its best. So please do not do that. What I would say, get a roll of wallpaper, use the reverse side of a piece of wallpaper or a large piece of A3 paper or A2 paper, and paint the square of colour onto the paper. Then stick the paper with a bit of masking tape, stick it onto your wall. And you can use, when you stick it onto your wall, you can move it around the different parts of your room, so you can see what it looks like in different lights at different times of day. So whether it's in natural daylight at different times of the day, or if you're going to have it in artificial light as well. So you'll be able to move it around and decide which wall you would rather put that colour on. So that's something that's very important for you to be conscious of. Use that. It's a much more efficient tool, and you get a lot more mileage out of it as well. Also, when you're collecting your samples as well, it's very sometimes if you're going to get a big sort of carpet sample, some of them say you can just borrow it and you put down a deposit. It's entirely up to you how you want to go about doing that, but most places have samples for everything. Even this furniture, the leather, they'll give you a sample of the leather for the furniture. Even the wood, for the storage, they'll give you a sample of the wood for the storage, a sample of this part here, which is a bit like a melamine sort of top. They'll give you a sample of that. So every piece of furniture, generally, they give you samples of it. You'll be amazed how many things you can get samples of. Only obviously things like the lampshades and the lighting, you'll have to get pictures of those. And I'd say put together on a table all your items and put them all together so you can see them, what they look like together. The things that are supposed to be on the vertical, put them on the verticals, like the paint samples. Things that are supposed to be on the horizontal, on the floor, put them on the floor at some point and have a look at them and see what they look like on the floor, because they're going to look very differently on the floor than they do on your table. Okay, so very important for you to put it in the actual plane that it's going to actually eventually live in. Okay, so put it on the floor or on the wall so that you can see it for yourself. Okay. Now, there are a number of bespoke pieces. As I said, this is a gold scheme. Now, when I've put things into bronze, silver and gold, they are starting prices. They're starting prices. If you're going to do full DIY, you may come in below those prices if you're going to do everything full DIY. Doing it DIY meaning do it yourself. If you're going to do it all yourself, you may come in below the prices that I've quoted you. Okay, if you're going to part trade, part DIY, it's probably going to be round about the quote, the estimate that I've given you. Okay, remember these are all starting price estimates. Okay, so you probably come in round about that price, and if you're going to go full trade route, then it's probably going to be higher than the estimate that I've given you if you're going to go the full trade route. Okay, so it's going to be starting prices for everything. So it just gives you an idea of what this overall scheme will probably cost for you to put things together. Now, quite often, you may have seen items that you think, I can use this and recycle. Please do that if you can recycle anything, because money saved in one area by recycling an item can be used in another area. So so the whole scheme balances out. So that's very important. This is a luxury modern. Modern is clean and crisp. That's a general idea of it, even though it's a really cocooned, soft room. Just because it's modern doesn't mean it shouldn't be snug and warm and cocoon-like. But the luxury element are the materials that are used. So if you decide to go part DIY and you decide to do certain items yourself and you save money, then you can spend on more luxury items like the bespoke leather panels. Okay, getting those done. You may find that you can do these panels yourself by using MDF getting MDF board, and then buying buying the foam inserts, sticking them in panel strips, and then everything has to be very sharply measured, panel strips, and then covering them with the leather. This will be take time. That's why I say this, if you're going to do it all yourself, it could take 3 months, because just doing those panels themselves, doing those panels and doing a really, really good job, that could potentially take you 3 weeks. Just to do the panels could take you 3 whole weeks, and I'm not exaggerating. If you want to do a really good job, just the panels alone could take you 3 weeks to do. And then if you may decide that, you know, you're going to do the decorating yourself, or you're going to even fit the carpet yourself, that's something that people feel that they can do as well. Get it delivered and get it fitted, and you fit it yourself. That just to take your time and to do that as well. Generally, if you're going to do the full DIY route, this is the order that I will tell you to do it in. You start from the top and you work your way down, and this is a very logical way of doing this, okay? You start with the ceiling, okay? You start with the ceiling first, okay? If you're going to have lighting in there, okay, or the lighting of the track lighting, you may decide, I would say paint the ceiling first. It's better to paint the ceiling and then to put the electrics in. Then all you need to do is do touch up on the paintwork, rather than trying to have all the electrics installed and trying to mask everything off and trying to paint around it. It will take you so much longer. So I'd say paint the ceiling first, then put your electrics in the ceiling, then do any touch up if need be in that area. You'll find most electricians are very professional and very neat and very proud of their work, and they don't make a huge mess in your ceiling, so they're very used to doing this. So I would say paint your ceiling first and then put your electrics in your ceiling. Once you've done that, then you paint the walls. Paint the walls and all the trims, all the window trims, and then you paint all of that next. Everything that goes on the plane, then you paint that next. Once you've painted that, okay, then if you're going to put in tracks on the ceiling for the actual panels, so you're going to be putting the tracks in onto the ceilings for the panels, okay. You need to have the flooring fitted. Now, if you're going to put tracks on, if you're going to put tracks on the floor, so that it doesn't move around, you're going to put the tracks on, and then you're going to fit the carpet around the tracks. That's the general way to do it. So the carpet will fit it up to the tracks and on the other side of the tracks, if you're going to be doing it that way, okay? Then once you've got the tracks on the ceiling and you've got the tracks on the floor, then you fit the panels. Then the panels are fitted after that. And then you put your window treatments in, the blinds, the voiles, the curtains, and then your furniture, the rugs, the furniture is placed on top. So we go paint the ceiling, put in the electrics, do the walls, do the tracks, put in your carpets, put your panels in, your bespoke panels, put in your window treatments, and then you put your rugs in, put your furniture in at last, okay? That's the order that you do it in. So that's if you're going to go the either full DIY or the part DIY, part trade route, okay? I would say for fitting your tracks and to fitting your panels, get somebody in, get a carpenter in. They'll probably do a much more quicker and a more efficient job, and especially if you spent all that time making the panels yourself, you can get a carpenter to come in and actually do that for you. That's what I would say. Or the company that makes the panels, they fit the panels. Isn't that wonderful? They make the panels and they fit the panels. So they come in, they put the tracks on the floor, tracks on the ceiling. They do this all day and all night. That's the thing that they do. So they make the panels, the company that makes the panels fits the panels. So you don't have to worry about, my goodness, how am I going to get this done? You just tell them exactly where you want them to go. By the way, when the tracks go in front of the window, they're not folding shutters like you have in a window. They're just tracks that track along in front of the window. So they go on a rail that's on the ceiling and they track around. So they will cover the window and they will track around and they will block off the other half. So they actually go on a track. They're not to go flush against your window. Okay, they're actually in front, just to form a barrier. So these panels form a barrier when they block the window. Okay, they're just a barrier track. Okay, and then when it separates the room, and then they're a track to separate the room, just so you know you're not trying to fit something into a window, they're going in front of the window. Okay, so that's important for you to understand. Important thing with this is your working mood board. I know I haven't talked a lot about this, but this is probably the most important piece of the whole consultation. It's quite self-explanatory. If you do nothing but just hand this to your project manager, he or she will know how to schedule the whole works. They will be able, the first thing they will do, once they've got all the materials and they can see what they're working with, they will contact all the suppliers and they will find out, number one, if everything's in stock and how long it will take to arrive. Once they know what's in stock, how long it's going to take to arrive, when it's going to be delivered, then they produce a schedule and then they can tell you how long, when they can start, once they've got all the materials together, and when they will finish. And so you will know how long your job will take to do. And that's something that if you're going to project manage it yourself, that's what you're going to do. Okay, you will contact everybody on here and find out if it's in stock, and how long it will take to get back into stock if it's out of stock, so you know what your options are, and then how long it will take to be delivered and when it will be delivered. Once you know everything is there, it's in place, then you can actually start scheduling. Obviously, some things like the furniture you want to be delivered last. Furniture, if you're going to have it made, can take anything from 1 month to up to 3 months. It depends on the company. So from 1 month to 3 months. So the furniture, you order that first, because that's going to take the longest. I'm telling you now, if you're going to get it made, it's going to take the longest. Anything bespoke, if you're going to get it made, it's going to take the longest. So I'd say order that at the beginning, and then you can, and so as you get people in to measure up, order it at the beginning, and then you can get moving on that. A thing with furniture to be aware of, make sure you can fit it through your doors. They do have sometimes people that come out and measure. It's worth having somebody come and measure so you know how your furniture, these are big pieces, these are big sectional pieces, even though they come in pieces, which is wonderful because generally means you won't have that much trouble. But they do want to know if you've got any tight hallways to fit them in, to be able to maneuver to get things into your home, or if you have to bring it in through the window. So it's important to know how it's going to get into your home, because that will be quite heartbreaking if you've gone through all of that trouble and then you can't finish the scheme off because you can't get the furniture into your home. Okay, so make sure you can do that. Order those pieces first, and other things like the painting and the electrics, they can be done relatively quickly. Okay, so it just gives you a window so you know in 3 months' time this is going to be my new scheme, sorry. And also I know that I can actually plan when everything can take place. If you're having somebody do it for you and it's the implementing of everything, then everything could be done probably within 3 weeks. So you just need a 3-week window to clear that area and to get everything done. And it's such a small time frame within the scheme of things to be able to produce something as wonderful and beautiful as this. Okay, now As I've explained, UK key, UK suppliers and US and UK suppliers. Some of them they're going to be traveling overseas to get to you some of the products. That's fine. Don't worry about it. It's all just about scheduling and getting things written down. That's why I say write everything down on here. If they say out of stock, when's it going to be in stock, write it down directly onto your sheet. Write down costings if you need to write down costings, and just any other items or ideas you may have, just write them directly onto your sheet. When I've printed mine out, I've printed everything out double-sided. It just makes everything a little bit more succinct and compact. You may think, I don't need to print everything out. I've got it all on my phone or my laptop. I'd say print it out, because phones lose charges at the most inopportune time. Laptops can blank things for whatever reason and they go off in the cloud. Yes, you can retrieve it, but it's just so time consuming. When you've got a hard copy, you can make many copies and you can hand people things and say, this is what I need, can you get me this? And you can actually leave it with somebody, or you can go to a company, and if they're not sure if they've got it, they can make a copy of it and pin it to your file and that sort of thing, or scan it. Or you can scan it and send it to somebody. So this is really a good idea to have a hard copy. I'd say definitely this is your goal. This is your working mood board. This is your working mood board that you can take with you everywhere. Okay, right. Having said that, now you know what you need to do to be able to put your scheme together. What I ask of you, please drop me a line, let me know how this goes for you. I'd love if you drop me a line through the website, and if you attach pictures, if you want to attach before pictures, that's up to you. I'd love to see your after pictures to see how closely you've managed to transform it into this scheme. I'd love to see it. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Please let me know how you get on. Let me know if this has helped to change your story or help you to begin your journey of changing your story, if only by a small amount, or even a large amount, just let me know. But I do believe that this will help you to change your journey and also to transform your life. My website has a number of other design consultations which may help you once you get inspired after you've done the first one to maybe move on to one of the other rooms in your house. Please have a look and let me know what you think. I'm really looking forward to hearing from you, and thank you for choosing to choose one of these consultations to start your journey. It's wonderful. Enjoy. Thank you. Goodbye.